so we're back. Hopefully, well, we're certainly finishing Heretic today. So, we'll go ahead and start with this sort of mini dungeon in the back that's connected to the last few creatures we looked at yesterday. So we'll go ahead and begin at the chapel alone down, partly ruined, or covered in stained shards from howling windows. Steep stairs descend. Then you make your way through the cold, dark corridor, rank liquid dripping from ceiling holes, skittering and tittering from above. That leads you to I'm not sure if we saw stats for those. Maybe it was in the main book. Koboss. 6-week koboss dwell here, eating mud and hissing into holes in the floor. They taunt the PCs, crafting useless traps. While D6 flee the room, the rest will fight to the death. And then, looks like from there you have the option of either heading to Corridor East, or, well, to the corpse. The purple-skinned, black-eyed corpse with 100 sips, so quite a lot. Some smeared with poison. 1 in 20 chance of killing whoever touches them. That's pretty nasty. And I think that's part of the room, although I'm not really seeing it. Corridor East, spider legs protrude from the walls and a monstrous maw make strange noises from a rusty floor grate. When passing, test agility, DR4, or get caught. Your skull is crushed and fed to the hungry well spider. A lot of, I mean, that's not super out of place. But yeah, a lot of instant death here it seems. Oh, okay. Corridor East refers to that, I see. There's also 4, a gal. Prisoners long dead, yet moaning and wailing, trapped between the canal and the portcullis. If freed from this chamber, they finally find rest. I guess originally I thought you couldn't really, or maybe you can't. I mean, but if it's a portcullis, you should be able to open that. Oh. I didn't even know, yeah, so it does give a little, they're pretty, yeah, as in their name, they're very weak. Let's go ahead and act like we've gone through the corpse room. From there you can go to the dim room. Western wall is an impenetrable sheet of skin. Shelf garbage and bomb. 3d4 reroll if 1. Door 2, room X, hidden unless the nurses have left. X. a smoke-filled chamber with a lever, some old bedrolls, and a group of rotten nurses. They won't leave unless alerted. Pulling the lever drains the canal between the gown and the guard room. Okay. I'd assume you could also just put something across the canal. Or, like, you'd think it'd be the reverse, that you would feel the canal, because if it's drained, that makes it harder to leave. From there, you can go to Corridor North. Roll D4, crossing out the results. Let's go ahead and do that. Passing through it, a gust of wind extinguishes all light. Unclear whether you can get to, so the Rotrium, which you get to through Corridor North, toothless screaming hag tending a blazing bonfire, completely blocking the western exit. Smoke seeps into a pipe leading to the nurses in room X. Sealing a mosaic of carnage, a battle without a winner. Heading south, you enter the quarter south. The stairs descend, only to ascend for no apparent reason. Paintings of smug royals, among them Fathmu the Knight, holding a golden spire. The next time the PCs pass, he is instead holding a severed head. Which takes you to the guard room. 4 guards lie, armless and legless, in dirty cots. Hissing with ruptured vocal cords, we are the one, the chosen guardian. Weapons are scattered on the floor. 2 swords, 4 knives, 2 bows. Deep in the murky canal is a key to the locked door. Okay, I guess that's why you'd want to drain the canal. The starving sludger attacks anyone diving in, but is rendered harmless if the canal is drained. Okay. And amongst doing all of this, the following alerts the nurses. Someone touching the guard room stairs. 3 torches being removed from the walls. That's a bit of unclear criteria. If the toothless hag dies, or the bonfire is extinguished, when alerted, they go to room D4+1 to investigate. Reroll this every 10 minutes. Guessing for every 10 minutes after they've been alerted. And so finally, takes you to the Borgbiter nest, which your characters will improve when entering. Only roll for abilities and hit points. Glowing moss, healing fungus, and Hit-lurking Borgbiter notices anyone entering and attacks in a few minutes. Also in the pit is the Staff of Awful Light. So this brings us to the final part that we didn't cover. The sepulchre of the Swamp Witch. East of Lake Ondu, in the slithering swamp, is a swamp witch's ancient sepulchre and an altar of dead roots covered in lost eyeballs, symbols. Bit of a different connotation. They say if certain forbidden words are chanted at it, any wish is fulfilled. Even stopping the approaching doom is not outside the powers of the Swamp Witch's altar. He stumbled on these forbidden words on a murdered messenger wearing Mad King Fathmu IX's crest in a ditch. You just need to get past the strange serpent drug cult layering in the ancient tomb and reach the altar. We'll go ahead and roll for 2 rumors you could have heard. 6. Entrance risk catching a psychic parasite to prevent it from spreading. Isn't it better to simply kill everyone and maybe also burn the swamp? Yes. It's the only way to make sure. Or a 5. Of deep-pocketed merchants trading illicit goods with the cult. The strange serpent drug cult formed when Ureth the Scale Hunter found the Emerald Serpent, while already intoxicated by fungus and swamp water. Stunned, he did nothing as the serpent bit him, mixing brewing venom into a permanent hallucinogen in his bloodstream. He had visions of sacred snakes promising eternal happiness after the world's end. All he must do is spread a message of love and joy until then, and make a sacrifice to the serpents every 3 days. He returned to his village of Neckdorf preaching happiness, love, sex, and drugs, asking everyone to join him in his newfound swamp paradise. A few did. The rest were later kidnapped and sacrificed in the name of eternal love. So 1, a sunken entrance. Stone gate standing in 5 feet of green water. A large emerald serpent sits on a floating leaf. She speaks, informing those that the door opens only to those allowing her to bite them. This is a half-truth. Her bite injects the hallucinogenic venom that also works as a key, but the door also opens if she's slain. She attacks anyone trying to force the door. And she does sound formidable. She attacks 3 times each round and has the ability of Emerald Venom, testing toughness, DR12, or being afflicted. No test if willingly bitten. Everything turns chromatic. Fire burns with colors never seen before. Jail, dome, and old fire. Spectral leaf bloods grow from dead matter. Everything is kaleidoscopic. Nature sings just for you. There is beauty in the world. Certain truths become clear to you. You get -1 on initiative and fumble on 1, 2, 3 for the duration of the 7-day-long high. Also perceive some things differently. And that takes you to the common hall. upward slope leads to a moist cave with crappy furniture and puddles of swamp water, smells of algae, mold, and burnt bread. 50% chance the D4 plus 3 cultists are present dining on bread and grilled gator. The path to the Skill Hunter's chamber is invisible to those unaffected by the emerald venom until someone who sees the path steps into it. The same applies to further doors and portals in other parts of the sepulchre. Those who are tripping see sparks in puddles, new green leaves growing from the rock ceiling, and a shining pathway to the Skill Hunter's chamber. The cultists recognize emerald venom in people, assuming the party are new disciples if more than two are tripping. If so, they are friendly or helpful, otherwise roll reaction. The cultists are unaware of the swamp witch or her tomb, but know plenty about an altar and fulfilled wishes, though they are wary to speak too much about it. So even normal people can see the way to the cold bedroom. 20 or so mold-covered straw mattresses, D6 plus 4 resting cultists who assume the party belongs here unless they are blood-splattered or charging weapons drawn. And those tripping see a large spectral lizard on a green pillow in a corner. If approached, it lazily retreats into the wall and disappears. The pillow is a pouch with 2d4 times 10 silver. So that's potentially quite a lot. 4, which is on the hidden path, leads you to the Skill Hunter's chamber. The small openings leading to this chamber are only visible for those on venom. Dried gators hang from the ceiling, drawings of snakes made with bodily fluids on the walls. Well-used mattresses on the floor. Among the dirty rags is a scroll with Wes's Gospel scribbled on one side and the power of slithering strangulation on the other, which D4 rainbow-colored ethereal boa constrictors emerge from the ground and capture one creature each for D8 rounds, dealing D2 damage each round. Attacking a constricted creature in melee comes with a 50% risk of the snake changing target to the attacker. And those on the venom see 3 large snakes slithering upside down on the ceiling. They do not wish to be disturbed and respond to threats by attacking twice the same round for D4 damage and then disappear. And Ural, the permanently high cult leader, is the real deal, a complete believer in his serpentine visions and would very much like the newcomers to join him in worship. If they seem unwilling, he tries to subdue them to use as sacrifices. If his morale breaks, he tries to escape to the worship hall for aid. He has heard rumors of Swamp Witch buried somewhere here, but hasn't gone farther than the garden, where he felt threatened and turned back. So that takes us to the worship hall, which is a normal path from the sort of lobby, but hidden paths from the Skill Hunter's chamber. Stained blankets on the floor used while practicing U.S. gospel of free love. Among them is a ruby ring inscribed with the name Klopstock, Worth 200 silver to most merchants, if brought to Schleswig, the only surviving Klopstock family member pays 5 times as much. 3 large metal cages with 5 starved prisoners, horrified and ripe for sacrifice. Travelers and nearby villagers with nothing but a will to be set free. And there are a D4 plus 2 fanatical devotees guarding the sacrifice. And there's a 50% chance that they're joined by D4 regular cultists who are enjoying themselves. Those on the Venom, the paths to both the Snake Pit and the Scale Hunter's Chamber appear as a portal of green vines and a crevice behind a flutter of butterflies, respectively. These devotees, the fork-tongued devotee, these are the most fanatic of West followers and will die for him at fast. They will not allow any suspicious behavior in the worship hall. They speak with a burning passion and wicked lisp. So you can get there through to the Snake Pit, through the hidden path in the worship hall, or normally from the bedroom. The grime-colored stone altar of a 20-foot pit full of snakes, walls and ceilings covered in dead roots. A fork-tongued devotee is feeding the snakes. Most serpents are harmless and won't come near open flame, exempting another emerald serpent who warns anyone without emerald venom that they won't reach their goal without letting him bite them. Underneath those snakes are a dozen human skeletons. A protrusion in the pit's wall looks like a narrow stone block from above and hides a narrow hot tunnel to the hidden ferns. And with those of you on the Venom, a giant snake's head with a vertical mouth sits in the northern wall. If approached, it telepathically informs the PCs that Ueth forbids any cultist from going farther. It opens its mouth, allowing passage to the garden if someone claims not to be a cultist or not care about the rule. So taking that hidden path takes you to the garden. Luminescent flowers grow on the ceiling. Strange ancient symbols are carved into the walls. The ground is covered in mostly human skulls. A few are wide and violet with 3 eye sockets and a mouth capable of swallowing a person whole. Hidden among them is a small bag containing 750 silvers worth of gems, which I believe is quite a fortune in this game. Certainly, I believe by far the largest amount of money we've seen so far in anything. And for those still on the Venom, you see shifting symbols, if carefully studied, change into a familiar alphabet. The eternal avatar here guards, protecting both those above and below from famine, plague, war, death, and extinction. A giant flower opens when approached, revealing the path towards the hidden ferns. So that takes us to the hidden ferns, which we either get from that hidden path or having jumped down from the other hidden path in the Snake Pit. Luminescent ferns cover the ground and walls. The croaking trident is hidden beneath ferns along the east wall. She is a two-handed trident surrounded by pandemonic energy. It deals d10 regular plus d4 pandemonic damage. Each living creature it slays gradually turns the wielder into a mad amphibian. The changes start subtly, but after 5 kills, people begin noticing the bulging eyes, the slimy sweat, and discoloration of the skin. After 8 kills, the wielder has a natural D2 armor due to their rubbery skin, and croaks between their words as they sometimes incoherently speak. At 13 kills, the transformation is complete and nothing remains of the person but chaotic, amphibian rage, madness, and violence. Venomous adders guard the path from the snake pit, attacking anyone unaffected by emerald venom. And you also, if you're on the venom, see dead ethereal snakes piled up against the wall, especially atop the croaking trident. So heading back out into the garden and heading north takes you to the tomb. A cloud of moss seem to fill the room, but are on close inspection just circling. A ring of 13 obelisks carved with endless spiraling snakes surrounding in turn, a lidless and empty sarcophagus. The swamp witch floats 2 feet from the ground at the far end, obscured by moss. And on the venom, a whirlwind of colors, most previously unknown and alien. The droning noise of hundreds of souls screaming in ultra-slow motion fills the room. Tentacles of pulsing light grow from the sarcophagus towards the corridors, leading to the Deadroot altar and downward spiral. The Swamp Witch, HP 30, no morale. Ethereal Barrier, D4. Lunar's Vihander, D12 plus Radiance. Radiance. The Lunar's Vihander is made from moonlight, ignores all non-magical armor, and each hit fills the room with radiant light. Everyone within 50 feet tests presence. DR12 or takes D4 damage. Eternal. As long as the Deadroot altar stands, the Swamp Witch does not die, but instead evaporates and reforms in the sarcophagus with full health 3d6 rounds later. Should the Swamp Witch truly die, the emerald serpents, the barrier blocking the downward spiral, and all emerald venom hallucinations disappear forever. The Swamp Witch takes the form of a scraggy figure dressed in a green robe. Instead of skin, she is covered in multicolored scales, and where her head should be is just black smoke and 2 bright diamond eyes. On her back is a shining greatsword, longer than she. She floats 2 feet above the ground. She communicates telepathically with either whispers or screeches. She would very much enjoy seeing the party make a wish and pledge at the altar. She can instruct them how, whispering seductive promises of individual gains if they find an unwilling person to pledge. After all, would all members of the party truly be missed in this world? Go ahead and read the wishes section first. A wish made. While an unwilling human is sacrificed on the altar, somehow comes true. The exact phrasing is important, and you are encouraged to find loopholes and possible complications. asking for the world not to end only delays the inevitable. Do not roll on the calendar of Necrobol the next time a misery is supposed to activate. No matter the wish, the sacrifice dies screaming as their soul is pulled from their body and into the altar. All that remains is dead wood. And after a wish is made, 2, the altar cracks straight through, weakening the Swamp Witch to 1 HP, making it possible to kill her permanently. A misery instantly activates. Nothing can ever restore the altar. Or maybe 6. The altar deems the pledge unworthy and drains the energy from everyone in the room, resulting in any loss of D4 from their maximum HP. No further wish is possible until as many months have passed as the total HP were lost. A wish made with a willing sacrifice, such as a character giving themselves up for the greater good, is punished. The would-be sacrifice is thrown into the air, while the wishmaker must test toughness or suffer 2d8 damage and be paralyzed for d6 rounds. This also angers the Swamp Witch, who appears sword in hands. Okay, because it is possible to get to the altar without encountering the Swamp Witch. I want to see something really quick. Deadroot altar. Walls, ground, and ceiling covered in dead roots. A group of roots stand up, shaped like an altar. Boss symbols are carved into the altar. Loose bits of dead wood, vaguely resembling humans, are spread around the room. It is dead silent. Not even a fly lives here. It's possible to squeeze through a pair of roots on the south wall to enter a tight passageway to the hidden ferns. I was wondering about that, but did it mention that? No, it didn't mention it on the hidden ferns. Maybe, seems weird that it's only accessible from this side, but first, venom. The altar is surrounded by a golden glow. Small budding leaves are spread around on all roots, but the loose bits of wood are completely dead and barren. The altar reads, without cost, no wish comes true. Make a pledge unwilling, and reality bends for you. Stay then, silent. And then finally we have the downward spiral. A black pit with a narrow ledge circling it. Downwards, downwards, and downwards. If the Swamp Witch is alive and the altar isn't intact, a magical barrier blocks anyone from going farther down than 30 feet. 2 antediluvian, 3-eyed humanoid toads stand guard hidden 50 feet below. Soroki and Yaxel have guarded this pit for centuries, during which they have been partners, enemies, lovers, and allies. They are willing to do almost anything to get their hands on the croaking trident. If the barrier is broken and one lives to tell the tale, more of their kind will appear in the area over the next D20 days. Further down, great caverns open up, and somewhere deep are entire cities of these creatures. Okay, I was wondering, because if you kill the witch, the venom is gone, but I guess this is assuming it's bubbles are slowly rising from the pit, and it almost sounds like waves in the distance. An opaque, shining green barrier blocks the path. So Sroki it's kind of interesting. Oh, okay. Well, it either bites or croaks. Um, a loud croak stuns and deafens anyone within 20 feet unless they test presence. And Yaxel seems the more dangerous of the two. Can drain. The Rancer transfers D4 HP from the target to Yaxel on each hit, and can with the following powers up to D3 times per day each. And I'm guessing those are all just from the core book. Oh, I don't remember them specifically. But Metzel, Blind Your Eye, 9 Violet Signs, Unknot the Storm, and Roscoe's Consuming Glare. So that, I think, I'm not sure which is longer, this one or the sample one from the core book. But I think this is probably the most involved adventure we've seen. Really liked the feel of it, a bit interesting, investigating this cult. So that concludes Heretic. Really like the feel of it, just like the zine-like feel, not knowing what to expect. Although it did towards the end kind of skew adventure heavy. But we've got a couple more Morkborg books to look through, so I'm still definitely looking forward to those. Had planned on opening that up today, but I think we're out of time. So we'll have to save that for another time. Tomorrow, I think we'll start the next John Harris book. But that will wrap things up for today.